All right, you guys. Hello, hello,
Hello,
hello.
Auntie.
Welcome to Cornerstone's Life Class with me and Pastor Sawyer. I'm Tony, and he is Clifton.
Hello, out there.
And I hope you guys have had a good day so far. And let's see who's here. Let's see if who's here tonight. All right. Then my sissy and my brother-in-law enjoyed you guys yesterday. It's Linda Langdon. Hello, Linda. How are you? Hey, Burn
That was
Burn.
Sunday.
Huh?
You said yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Monday.
Monday. You're right. That was Sunday. You're right. Yes. Yes. John Grease is in the house. And there's Jill. Jill. Good afternoon, Jill. Good. I want to say good morning. Good afternoon, Pastor Norman.
Norman J.
Hope you're doing well. All right. Let's just jump in so we don't waste a lot of time. Hope you guys have had a good day. Like I said, it's been hot here in the Carolinas.
Sure have.
Let's see. Let's do our affirmation, meditation, and prayer, whatever you want to call it, and center in. Let me know if you're hearing us, seeing us. I assume you are since you are responding. Um, Hopefully, everything's good on your end. So let's just do our affirmation meditation on this wonderful Tuesday afternoon. Hey, Brother Kessler.
He made it back, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. All right. This is just our surrender prayer. Thank you, Jill. Just our surrender prayer. So let's just do this. And if you have a lot of distractions around you, I'm hoping you can eliminate them and just still yourself for a moment so we can bring our minds into focus so that we can be ready for whatever it is that the Lord wants to say to us today. Take a deep breath in if you want and release it. And you can say this with me if you like, repeat after me, or you can just listen, whichever is easiest for you. On this day, I ask to be a vehicle of divine love and a channel of your will. I surrender all personal will through devotion. I dedicate my life to service. I choose love and peace above all other options. I commit to the goal of unconditional love and compassion. And I surrender all judgment. I suspend all opinions. And I surrender all preferences. Father, let this day not be a day spent in the mind, but a day absorbed in unity with you inside my heart. Be in my eyes and in my seeing. Be in my ears and in my hearing. Be in my mouth and in my speaking. Be in my mind and in my understanding. Fill me with yourself and replace me with you. And so it is. And so it is. Well, baby girl's already starting to bark because she hears somebody walking down the street. And she's gone to check on it. So you might hear her barking some more. You got anything on your plate tonight you want to start with? Or
Well, no more than back to what we were talking about the last session we had, and what Jesus talked about being one with the Father, and he said to glorify the Son, that the Son may glorify you or thee.
Mhm.
Thou hast given him power over all flesh, that he should give eternal life to as many as thou hast given him. Now, he said this, I have glorified thee on the earth, and I have finished the work which thou hast given me. And when Jesus said he was one, when he talked to the Father, he was talking to where he knew and who he knew the Father was. We talk to the Father and talk to Jesus as though he's at a distance, and we pray like he has to hear us, and if we don't get an answer, he don't hear us.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that is a condition that everybody in church in this world has been programmed for. But to lose that programming is to lose the unwatchfulness of the way you talk about where God is in your statements and your attitude. There's nothing wrong with being finalized that God and you are in the same place at the same time. And when you get serious about this awakening, you will eventually locate him, not someone somewhere else at another time in another place. It does not omit the second coming and anything else you may know in the Bible or in the Course in Miracles, but it does bring you to an awareness that to talk to each other, if God is anywhere and that is everywhere, you're talking to him, and he is not someone listening to you in a place or heaven just alone. When somebody is omnipotent, omnipresent, that means everywhere. So where is it? Where is it that God cannot be? He's inside of a dog. He's inside of a tree. He's inside of grass. If he's omnipotent, look up the word, the definition, and stop watering it down, breaking it down to human chronologists, trying to say God ain't in this and ain't in that. God can't be in this house because it's not holy. God came, or he was made aware of, in my house where there was no welcome. And to put it like this, he don't have to be welcome or unwelcome. He just is. God just is. And whatever he is, we are. But if you're caught up and trained and conditioned to be body mind without understanding spiritual mind or eternal mind, you cut yourself off from God being everywhere present. I like the everywhere present because it takes the work out of it. I can pray or not pray and still know where God is. I can hear somebody mean, hateful, and bad, cussy, mussy, and bussy. They are cousins, cussy, mussy, and bussy. They all work together. Why can't we work together, seeing God everywhere? God ain't in that. God ain't in the liquor store. Yes, he is. He is. He's in the liquor store. God ain't in the funeral home. Yes, he is. God ain't in the jailhouse. Yes, he is. God ain't in hell. Yes, he is. If there's a place called hell, there's not anywhere that God is not. And now, the more Jesus talked to his disciples about oneness, excuse me, please, he is letting them know that wherever you see him, you will see his higher self, which is the Father. And that same Father that he's talking about is the one that we are one with. It is amazing when you get into this and you find it out. We feel like we need to go around and tell everybody about the experiences that we've had. And in some cases, we do. In some cases, we don't. We'll have to find out eventually through trial and error, seemingly trial and error, but it's really a school that teaches you wisdom as to how to talk to Jesus or to Christ in people without ever mentioning anything about the book, the Bible, or any religious philosophies. I've come to a place where I've entered into a rest where I don't feel obligated to go around and try to tell everybody or ask everybody, do they know Jesus? Somehow or another in the conversation, it will be made known by presence. The deeper you go in the presence, or the more awareness you go, I'm going to stop. I won't use the word deeper, but the more aware you are of being one with God, presence automatically emanates itself from you. I've talked to a lot of people. I look at a lot of people, and since he showed me how to see him in everybody, I wait when I see him, and I look for him because I see him. I don't have to work at it. It is not something I work at. It is not something I am unfamiliar with. I become familiar with it, and when I am familiar with it, I stop and I look beyond the form, and I look beyond age. I look beyond memory. I look beyond the moving and the unmoving of awareness. I look beyond understanding. I look beyond quotations. I look beyond the memories of visions and dreams. All I know is that in the inner knowing of the mystical side of all of us, that Jesus Christ is everywhere present, whether in Mormonism, Holiness, Baptist, Methodist, Catholic, interdenominational, no denominational, prostitute houses, prostitutes themselves, White House, the governor's mansion, he's there. We're not always aware of it, but I'm aware of it. It doesn't make anything happen. And one of the most important things I found out about him is this, about the presence of God. We go to church every Sunday to do things for the presence of God to show up. What about these people in the hospitals who are not in church? The presence of God is there. How can he be in a place that you say that God don't dwell in no unclean temple? Yes, he does. He dwelling in yours and everybody else's. He's in the temple of everybody based on the eternal essence in every man. That eternal life that we are after we leave our bodies is the eternal life of God. Whether you say it from the scriptures or not, I've come to the place where I see God. Now, that's me personally. If you don't see him, you continue on like you're going. If you don't want to see him, you don't have to. He won't force you to. But I'm just telling you what happened to us and the way it is with us. You are beyond books and you are beyond studying. God's presence is beyond a book and studying. You are beyond being stuck, delayed, or destroyed. You cannot be destroyed. The eternal part of you cannot be wiped out. You are a vast, uncreated identity. You've always been with God. You read your book, read the book, read the inner truth about omnipotence, omnipresence, and eternal. And the definition that will definitely come back to you that you are the life of this body, and the life of this body is God. Now, you cannot be beyond something unless you are already beyond it. And you are beyond death. We are beyond being stuck in one place. The addiction of this world is you, me, I, us, them, us, different places. But when you wake up, you'll see. And you know, you come to the place where you're not going to try to explain it to everybody. You just walk in the yeses of God. There is a yes. And in the no's, God still exists. And we talked about in the 16th chapter of Luke, the rich man and Lazarus, they both left their body. One was carried by an angel, and one was just existing in another dimension, but they could see each other. Jesus talked about that. Whether Jesus in the scriptures is true or false, or real or not, I know he is. I know he's real. My personal experience and on the other side and my investigation into him has been convinced to me that he is real. There's no stopping and starting of the eternal self. There is no such thing as form stopping you. You are formless, and yet you take on the form of many eternal identities. You are beyond age. Age is a number, it is something that appears to change through time. You are beyond memory. You are an eternal yes of God. You are the unmoving awareness of God. You're beyond standing still or being stuck in one place. We repeat these things over. There's nothing else to say. But once you see this, there's a rest. But it brings with it a thrilling adventure of God, but at the same time, there's a sadness there because there's some things that you'll see in oneness that you would love to be able to say to people, but you know you can't. And some people will say, if you hold back, God will hold you accountable. No, that might be you, but not me. Wisdom shows me how to talk to people just like God would talk to people by saying, thank you, good morning, I'll see you later, we'll talk again soon. I took my Jeep to get it serviced today, and when he finished with it, when I got in, I told him, I said, thank you for the service. I knew I was talking to the Lord. And one of the greatest words you could say to anybody is the greatest universal saying is thank you. I see people passing me and they're walking. They say, good morning. Good morning, Lord. I don't tell them that they're Lord, but I know where he is and I know who I'm talking to. That's the key to the mysteries of the hidden gospel of Jesus Christ. The hidden gospel of Jesus Christ is beyond paper and ink. It is the life that you are, the life that you face, the life that you pass on the street, the life that you pass and somebody throw their finger up at you because you made the wrong turn. God don't remove himself from that person or that presence around that person just because they mad at you and just because you ride behind somebody and don't know which way to turn. We do it every day. But that's what I realized, and that's what I know. Ye have known me, and ye should have known my Father, he said. My Father is from henceforth, I came and know him. And he said to them, he said, you've seen him. How did they see him when they looked at him? When we look at each other, whether we like somebody or want to be with somebody or not, he's still there. That's what I got to say. It might sound redundant, but that's nothing else to say. I could give you all kinds of scriptures and quotation, but that's not important. When you wake up, everything is real and you can see what is and what is not. Okay. You are the unmoving wind of God. You are beyond being twisted and turned and persuaded. If you are persuaded to not believe that Jesus Christ or your Christ self or your eternal essence existed from a place called eternity, it's okay. You're not going to change it. You're not going to stop it. You can't. You'll see it. You stay in this body long enough. Stay in the suit. We are inside of everybody in the universe as the eternal essence in every man, the trees, the grass, everything. Okay, that's what I had to say. That's it. Okay.
Well, I mean, okay.
We are face to face with God when we face each other. You are no longer looking for God to come to be with you. He may not. Doesn't matter. We know where he is. We know his address. We know what street he lives on. We know what kind of car he drives. We know the clothes he wears. We know what he likes to eat. And some he don't eat meat, some he do. A lady was in a line when I was in the restaurant one time. She said, "Don't give me no meat." You know what I told her? I said to the lady behind the food there in the restaurant. I said, "Every piece of meat she don't eat, you give it to me. I'll eat it." But now, you are the there-ness, here-ness, and now-ness of God. You can hear and see God if you want to. How thirsty are you to see him? How strong is your desire to see him? That desire never stops unless you decide that you don't want to see it. Okay.
Okay, I'm just trying to decide where I want to jump in. I wanted to first say though that I wonder sometimes, and I don't know if you guys wonder about this, but I wonder sometimes what makes some people want to wake up more so than others, want to go further than the average person in the pursuit of truth. Um, I do believe it comes from a feeling of dissatisfaction, having the sensation that something is missing, and you can be very blessed materially, physically, and have everything that you desire, and still feel like something is missing. And there can be this level of dissatisfaction. And I think for some of us, that is what drives us and makes us feel like we're still seeking, because there's a level of dissatisfaction that we're experiencing. And that is more than anything, that's the urge to wake up. The urge to wake up is fueled by that sense of something is missing, and the love for the truth, wanting the truth, wanting to know everything in spite of how it's going to impact you or impact your life, how it's going to change how you've done things, how people relate to you. Some of us have been really intentionally moving in that direction because we really are feeling that something is missing. But I wanted to say too that some of us who have had this glimpse of awakening, such as what Pastor's talking about, we find ourselves going in and out of it in the area of peace. Some days we're more peaceful, can handle the things that come toward us or come at us. Life comes at you fast. Some days we struggle with that. Some days we can distance ourselves from the mind, and then other days it's like the mind we're wrestling with it, like Jacob wrestled with the angel. And I think that some of this up and down, in and out, is normal, because if you look at life in general, you inhale and then you exhale. You inhale and then you exhale. You don't stop when you inhale. You have to let that out. So it's like a constant receiving and then letting go. And I think most of life is like that. The ocean is ebbing and tiding. It comes in and it goes back out. The sun goes up and down, or I should say day and night. We have to let go of the day in order to enter the night. And so it's a constant coming into and then letting go. And we have to, I feel, get used to the letting go. So this ebbing and tiding that we experience, this up and down feeling that we experience, I think is normal. Um, and it's fueled by the sense that something is missing. I don't know if that registers with you. I just thought I'd share it. But I think that you are listening to us because you had this urge to wake up. This urge to find out what's missing, and in hopes of possibly someone saying something that will trigger uh, enlightenment for you, and you begin to feel different. And I think the desire to feel good and the desire to feel better is also one of the reasons why we stay on the journey to try to find awakening. But really, awakening is what I've always been. It's coming to the recognition of what I've always been. It's coming to the recognition of what in me or as me never changes. Not the physical me, not the mental me, but that part that has never changed and will never change. And it has always been here. So it's like enlightenment, if I use the word enlightenment or awakening, it's like coming into a recognition of what you already have been all the whole time. It's not a becoming. It's waking up to what you already been. Now I want to see what Linda's saying here. Linda's giving us a comment. She said, as a person, I don't think we choose to wake up because that person doesn't exist. What we truly are is doing its thing. When it's time, and it will happen to everyone. Yeah, I believe that too, Linda. I also believe that a lot of us would not have pursued this undoing of the personal self. I'll say it like that. If our lives had been perfect. If our lives had been perfect, we may not have embarked on this journey. However, I do believe that as a person, we didn't choose to wake up, but there was that has never changed in us, that we've always been, that decided it's time. It's time. And there's this longing to have some kind of certainty of who I am and why I'm here. Where did I come from? What's my reason for being here? What am I supposed to accomplish while here, if anything? And that to me, I think, is one of the reasons why we embark on this journey as well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Hello,
Yep.
Miss Deborah. I'm glad you're here, sweetie. Yes, thank you, Linda, for that comment. Thank you.
Now, there's a place in John 14 which says this, 13th verse, whatsoever ye shall ask in my name.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to put a little circle around name. Because, see, the way we came along, we say in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, that was, we used it as
Use
if it
the
was a magic
name.
mantra.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Not realizing, and many of you have already shared this before when we were doing a live stream, but not realizing that when we read anywhere in the name in the scriptures, it means actually in the nature of Jesus Christ. And you not knowing our own true nature is that.
Mm-hmm.
That is our true nature.
You move from doing to being, to having to being,
Mm-hmm.
to seeking to being,
Yeah.
to trying to get to be in.
Yes, yes.
Waiting on
yes.
God
To be
move
in.
to be in.
Yes, yes.
Asking God. Here come asking God. How you say this? Asking God in beingness. Yeah, that's it. In beingness.
Well, I wrote this in my note and said, God does not wait to hear our words, but continually hears and answers our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So our heart is speaking when our words are not saying anything, or when our words might be completely in error.
I call
but
him.
Our heart is God is what He listens to the heart.
I call him the speak spoke.
And I think
spoke speak.
Yes, and I think God listens to the heart because God is our heart.
Mm-hmm. He said, "Ask in my name." Now here's what I saw in heaven, in the council room. I looked, and I saw my name in the ceiling. The angel was standing behind me, but there was a part of my awareness that could see me standing there and the angel standing behind me. And I'm looking at the whole thing, yet I am in it, being my eternal self. I'm standing at the end of the entrance, at the front entrance of this place I went to, and a table I came in front of, or in front of me. It's hard to describe these 3 or 4 dimensions. I looked at the chairs, I looked at the table, I looked all the way down through eternity, and eternity was as close as the end of that table was. I was standing. Did you get that? Eternity, infinity, was as close as the beginning of that table and the end of that table where I was standing. I was aware that I was standing. I was aware that there was a 7 or 8 foot tall being, light being standing behind me. And I could either turn my head and look or turn my awareness and look. But it seemed like I didn't have to move an ounce of my body, my spirit body, to see him. My knowing was the standing of the angel. My knowing was me standing there. My knowing, or the knowing was the table. The knowing was the room. The knowing was the ceiling. The knowing was the boards that the table was made out of. And incidentally, the table was made out of Christ himself. And at the end of the table was Jesus, the Christ. And I was aware of him looking at me at the table. And at the table, the chair that he was sitting in was made out of him.
Now, what I get from that you just shared is not so much the excitement of what took place, but the fact that you were the one that was aware. You were aware of it all. In phenomena, the experience itself comes and goes.
Yes.
The charge or the mass or the what's the word I'm looking for? The power and the impact of that experience is less now than it was when you first had it.
Yeah.
It comes and goes. It is now a memory. So it's our whole life is filled with taking in and letting go.
For 50 years I've been saying this. Same thing, awareness.
And we've had all of these different spiritual phenomena and spiritual experiences to take place, but no experience can be held on to or camped at.
Don't have to.
They can only be used as an impartation or imparted lessons. And that's, I think, what we desire is to have one final experience that's going to lock me in forever. And I don't have to ever have to try to, I won't ever have to deal with this in and out ever again. But I think that's not going to ever happen. I don't think we come to a final experience, because all experiences come and go.
I even saw, when I looked at this, as I mentioned it, some of y'all been around here, heard it, Jesus was a friend even to enemies, which means he didn't have any enemies. But we say he does, but he does not look at enemies as like he looked at Judas. He didn't see Judas as an enemy.
Well, he couldn't, because he saw Judas playing the role of helping him to fulfill
That's
his
right.
script.
As well as us.
That every one of us are playing roles. And so there's no reason to get angry or hold a grudge against anybody, because that's what we're all doing. And so he did not hold a grudge. Jesus did not hold a grudge because he realized the purpose of Judas.
I looked up in the ceiling, and here's what I saw. I saw my name, the name that was given to me, one of the names that was given to me. The rest of the names that I saw that I indwelt was revealed to me when I looked over into the table of contents, or I look in front of any book that has an author and a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I looked in the ceiling and I saw the glory cloud that was with Moses. I saw the pillar of fire by night. It was a living being. The burning bush was, it said in the scripture, the angel of the Lord appeared to Moses in a burning, flaming fire bush. Listen, I saw my name. And here's what was the knowing part of the name of Jesus. He said, you are my name and I am your name.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he showed me.
Mm-hmm.
I understood what it meant then. When it said, asking my name, here it is. When somebody called me on the phone and I'm not at home, I can still answer the telephone and not be in the house. If my wife is in the house, if she's not home and they want to speak to her, she can still be in the house and not be home through me. I am her name and she took my name and I took hers. Jesus showed me that his name was mine and my name was his, meaning this. Whatever I'm doing now, I'm doing it in the personification of Christ. Now, this is a private, mystical knowing that was given to me.
Yeah, it was customized
for you. It was customized for me. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. Mm-hmm. That does not mean that if you don't see it, you're not in what I'm in. Oh, you are. I'm not going to push this on you. I'm not going to beat you across the head and give you a good sermon on this. I'm just telling you what it is. And he said, whatever you ask in my name, he said, as you stand in the presence of awareness of the Father, knowing or unknowing, the Father looks at you as him. How do you look at yourself? Exactly.
So seeing ourselves as God sees us is the goal. I like what Linda says. She says Rupert Spira, by the way, is who Linda is talking about. For those who don't know, Rupert Spira is a spiritual teacher and sage, and he talks about us, the true self, being contracted like a tight rubber ball to experience humanness.
Mm-hmm.
That desire to expand back to our true being always pulls on us to return. I like that, Linda. I like that. Yes, and I think that's what's happening to all of us. These feelings of influx of feelings. One day I'm okay. I can walk in the joy and recognize that everything is God and all of life is beautiful. And then the next hour there can be something that takes place that triggers my monkey mind, and it'll go off, and I'll have to battle that rascal, or at least not battle it, but get caught up in the battle of it, and then have to release and let go of it. And it takes a while to do it. And I don't think there are very few people who have an instantaneous awakening where they don't ever have to do any more spiritual practices again. That's just not reality.
I was in a meeting in Fort Payne, Alabama, and we were sitting people in chairs and we measuring their legs, and we know about the gimmick and the tricks that some people pull to move one leg from one side to the other, make it look like it was growing and not growing. So what I decided to do was I demonstrated to the people. I said, here's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to say the name Jesus. And if that leg is short or something wrong with it, it will fix itself. It will be fixed. But this, what I did was different. I told the ladies or whoever they were, I said, come in, let me show you how this works. I said, you don't know anything about it like I do, but I said, I want you to push the leg back. Push it, don't pull it, push, both of them even. Push, make them. The leg did not go even when they pushed, but when they pushed it, the leg come out even. I showed them everything that I could show them to let them know that you can do the same thing that Jesus did. And if you don't do it, it still does not omit the fact that Jesus and you are one in one experience doing these miracles. You are a miracle in itself of finding out that you and God are in the same suit. If he's in you, it's God. If he's not in you, he's still God. If he's around you, he's still God. But if he's in you and you say he is, I think it's time for you to make it an adventure to investigate.
You know,
if he's in you, what is he doing?
I want to talk about the in you.
Yeah.
I have this thing that I say, my Jesus in me days. When we talk about God being in us, Jesus being in us, however way you say it, we at that point, and I won't say everyone, but I know for myself, the concept of God being in me gives me the sensation that there is a God separate inside me, apart from me, even though he's in me. And it remains as a sense of separation. So I'll just read this to you. Jesus denied my mind and psyche his appearance because he wants to remain as me. And he desires that I lose sight of an other. I'm going to say that again. Jesus will deny my mind and psyche his appearance because he wants to remain as me. And he desires that I lose sight of an other. When we focus on even the phenomenon of God being in us, we still can experience separation. We still have the illusion of separation. I'll say it like that. So there's a point of recognition that comes when you won't be able to detect where God is, in or out, because God will be you. And the only way you'll see God is to see him as yourself and as others. That is the only way you'll see it. Now, some people will have experiences. Again, I'll say this. He will appear if that's needed. It's customized. It's customizable experiences explicitly for you. If you need that appearing as an other, it will be given to you. But the highest of what God really desires is for you to lose sight of yourself as an other and lose sight of the sense of there being two. So that's why I say inside this body, there is only one. There's only one inside this body. There's not a me and God. There's not a Tony and God inside this body. There is only God inside this body. And I'm not saying God in the sense that I'm almighty and I'm all perfect. And I'm saying the essence of what is in this body is God. It is what God is. John Greason says, Tony, that makes perfect sense. Yes. So and I say that only because we can get caught up in trying to get God to move. We can get caught up in trying to get God to do. We can get caught up in trying to sense God's presence. And we can get on that vicious cycle and never, ever come into a place of satisfaction, never ever come into a place where we're fulfilled, because we're still looking for something and we're still living by the phenomena. So while the phenomena is good and it's real and it's great, don't camp there. Please don't camp there.
He said, believeth thou not that I am inside of the Father?
Yeah, it was an in him,
and
in
the
him.
Father in me.
Exactly.
That's us.
Yes.
If you say the Spirit of God is in you and you are one with Him, if you don't say it, I'm sorry, it's too late. If you don't or do say it, it's too late. It's already be there. It already be there. You can't get out of it. It's no way. Now, you might as well enjoy yourself. Yes. Sit down and have your good old, let's have another cup of coffee, a brisk, crisp cup of Nescafe. Sit down and get you a Coke and enjoy the festivities, because you and God, you going to drink it and God going to taste it. You can damn somebody, send them to hell, and I'll tell them in a minute. They tell me to go to hell. I said, I don't want to go to your house. I said, I done already been there. I ain't going back no more.
Oh, Lord.
I decided to be where God is. Now, if I decide not to be, all of a sudden I say, I don't be where God is. God, look at me.
And nothing moves God.
Nothing.
Nothing moves God. Nothing.
Don't get on. You don't get on the last little baby Jesus nerve.
I always use the example. It's a really silly elementary example, but if an ant is out there in my yard and he stands up on the biggest rock he can find and he starts yelling and screaming that I don't want to be here and I don't like you and I'm gonna do I pay that ant any attention?
Step on him.
That's about as silly. That's about how we think God is affected by us. God cannot be affected by us.
Now, I found out how to use the God identity to forgive people and myself when I don't feel like I want to. All I have to do is remember that God, eternal forgiveness, is all forgiveness. That's the end of that.
And even when you don't remember,
it's still there.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Do you see this? It's almost saying like you don't stand a chance of getting around God at all. I mean, it ain't no way you gonna. If somebody invites you to eat dinner, you gonna leave God home? Hey, God, you stay here and watch television and look at the YouTube, and I'm going down here to this birthday party, and when I get through, I'll come back and we'll hook up. You forget that. I asked the Lord one time, you heard me say it. I got in the shower. I said, look, I'm going to take me a shower. Now, if you don't want to get wet, you can stay outside here and sit down on the toilet lid or go in the front room till I get out. And then when I get out, I'll let you know you can come back in the bathroom. We'll talk.
Let me just tell you what you are based on what God has seen. And we're using the word God a whole lot. And I don't want to abuse that. But I wanted to talk to you about what you are. You are, first of all, multidimensional beings. That means you exist in everything and every being. You exist in every being, able to go in and out of all dimensions. I mean, your mind may not be able to grasp that, but that's what you are. You are non-physical beings. The greater part of you is outside of this body. Okay? You were born on a stream of pure positive energy. That's what you are. You were born on a stream of pure positive energy. You are simply a stream of consciousness into this body. That's what you are, a stream of consciousness into this body. You are energy emitters. You are emitting, sending out energy constantly. You are a manifested version of God. You're genius creators with focus and intent. You're the extension of source energy. That means everything that came from the source. You are an extension of that source energy. You are vibrational beings. You're vibrating at different frequencies, sometimes lower, sometimes higher. You are eternal beings. You are immortal beings. There is so much more to you than just what you see in your physical form. So much more to you.
There are some people waiting on Jesus to come, and they are saying that because of the floods that are in California and the fire, they're saying, "How are you? How are you?" That he's soon to come. When I was a little boy, they said he was soon to come.
Yeah, that's
Well,
been said over and
and
over.
now I find out the soonness done already come.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I'm not going to defy the fact that some people are still looking for him in the sky. I decided I can't wait for that. I
right.
just can't wait for that. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
find him
yeah.
where he said he really was at this present moment.
Mhm. Yes.
Did you catch
Yes,
that?
yes,
I wanted to
yes.
find him where he is right now at the present moment.
Yes, and I agree with what Linda says. I am the Lord hidden by the veil of man. God is veiled
Ooh-wee.
by man.
Now,
The, hidden in plain sight, Linda. Hidden in plain sight.
we will be back again to talk this mystical stuff on Thursday afternoon
Mm-hmm.
at 12 with
12:30.
Pastor Norman. Pastor
Mm-hmm.
Norman
At
at
12:30.
12:30.
Mm-hmm.
Come on and join with us. Come on, hook up. We'll talk some more. And then some of you may have some comments. It seems like you're pretty quiet today, but don't worry about it. It's still working. You got it tied down on both sides of the road, the left side, right side, and you hold it in the middle.
Hey, they're probably quiet because they may have worked today or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah,
They're not all at
You
home
might
all
be sitting
day.
there eating a hamburger or hot dog and can't talk. But let me tell you something. This stuff is the
Yeah.
real stuff. It's
John
more real.
John says, I believe that God put together a plan and he's not going to change it.
Well, John, I'll tell you what, when I saw you at that birthday celebration, I was so glad to see the Christ looking like you. Yeah, he looked like all of us. It was a
Mhm.
great and wonderful experience. The experiences go and come, but the factuality does not ever leave.
Right, right.
You are the fact. Wait a minute, I heard something. He said, I fact myself into your awareness.
Fact yourself.
I fact. When you say, I'm going to fax somebody a note, what are you saying? You're going to fax. What does faxing a letter or faxing a note to somebody, to you, what does that mean? If I was to fax
I'm
something,
sending it from my spot remotely to your spot. That's what faxing
in other
is.
words, I'm breaking down barriers from my side to your side in between us to get across to you a message as though we are standing right there in each other's presence, as though we are reading it right off of the page
Yeah.
of the fax.
Well, there are other more sophisticated ways of doing it, more effective ways of doing it now. Faxing is becoming a little bit obsolete
Yeah,
unless you
yeah,
need an actual document, because a lot of people are using texting and emails now.
yeah,
So
email.
everything's faster than normal. So
Oh, it's
anyway,
different.
thank you, Jill, for posting about how to give, sweetheart. Thank you. She's always diligent about that. Thank you so much. Deborah, thank you. Sissy said she was listening intently. Deborah says rich. Linda Langdon says unchangeable, John. Deborah says we eating this word.
Oh, break
Thank
the
you,
bread
guys.
and,
Thank you,
and eat the
guys.
bread.
Thank you, guys. We will be back again on, as he said, on Thursday at 12:30. Hopefully, if you are not working or you're available, you can come in
Or
and
you get a
listen to
break
us.
in your lunch break. Tune in to us.
Yeah, yeah.
You may have a few minutes, but just come on in
Yeah.
there.
We always have a great conversation with Pastor Norman. If he's available, hopefully he'll be available.
Oh boy, say Killer Rock Record Training, therapy, sign to catch rheumatism.
And I'm going to introduce another young lady to us on one Thursday afternoon, or maybe even a Tuesday night. And that's Deborah Lee. She's been listening to us, and Oliver and Yolanda had her on their Truly Live podcast, and I'm looking forward to her coming in as a guest. Of course, ours will probably be a little less formal. We want to just have a good conversation with her, so we're going to bring her in at least on either a Tuesday or a Thursday to come and share some things
We'll
with you
let you
guys.
know.
And yeah, I will let you guys know, or we might just surprise you. So
Yeah.
just keep tuning in. Keep tuning in.
Oh, what a surprise.
And she'll bless you. I'm pretty sure she'll bless you. So we'll be back again, like we said, on Thursday at 12:30. And then if you don't catch us then, you can always catch us on Sunday at 10.
That's right.
We'll be back then. Hit the like button now. If you have the means to do that, go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed to us on YouTube, go ahead and do that right now. That'll be great. And we love you. We'll see you next time.
Okay.